without the Black Power movement, that would not have been allowed.
When Sweetback got away, there was a stunned silence, and then the place exploded. It was the largest grossing independent film up to that time.
I think its importance is that it demonstrated that there was a black audience there and that you could make black films for that audience, and not only gather your audience and focus them in a certain kind of way and make money in the process without being totally trapped in the system.
He did it for the money, and academia and cultural criticism and all this stuff has come along afterwards to try to give this kind of deep and profound spin to it. And it doesn't mean that it may not have deep and profound implications, but let's face it, the foundation of why this film was made and why it was a success was all about money.
What Hollywood did, they suppressed the political message, added caricature, and blaxploitation was born.
Hey, what's this 2592?
Action. I didn't even introduce myself to you fellas. My name is John Shaft. Freeze.
Five out of 6 Hollywood blockbusters were failing right in that period at the end of the 60s. So they weren't making any money in the box office. A couple of big studios went into receivership. So when they started to see these things in the black independent films that were really successful, hey, they put out their own product line.
That was beautiful, sweetheart.
Shaft was really made for a white cast, but when they saw all of these things, the rising expectations of a new black audience, this black energy about self-definition and the new black politics, and they saw something that was immediately exploitable, they changed Shaft to a black film.
The first time I saw it, it was awesome. He was like everything we'd always wanted to be. He was like cool, he talked tough, he looked great, and he was kind of fearless. He was a hero. He was already a neighborhood icon when he showed up in the movie. Even though we didn't know him, we knew him. You know, we felt him.
There are these moments that kind of were signals to the black audience that white people would just sort of scratch their heads about.
Hey, taxi!
The scene where the star of the picture can't get a cab.
What the hell is this? Your white mother?
It's sort of like there was this underground code that the black filmmakers and the actors brought their own experience to the movies in a way that we had never seen before.
Listen, Snow White. Me and you gonna tangle sooner or later.
Why don't you stop playing with yourself, Willie? You ain't gonna do shit.
That huge ripple that it created had to splash onto the shores of popular culture at some point. And just the idea of Shaft saving the studio that was literally pawning Judy Garland's ruby slippers for $20,000 to keep the doors open was just a wonderful thing.
It was a hit combination, this kind of black macho detective in New York City, black girlfriends, white girlfriends mediating between the mob and the police looking for a kidnapped gangster's daughter, high adventure, and Isaac Hayes with the score was, well, hey, that was a high cultural moment.
Now, the sequence we saw this morning, Times Square, panned on off the skyscrapers along 42nd Street over the marquees, and when Shaft pops up out of that subway, that's when it should really come on.
Right.
That should be a driving, savage beat, you know, so that we're right with him all the time.
Uh-huh. Let's take it. 1, 2.
seem to have missed the entire advent of rock and roll and soul music. And then with the appearance of the Shaft theme, it's as if Hollywood finally woke up to it many years later.
Yours! Get out of the way!
That theme song was so exciting to hear, and still is exciting to hear, that it came at the very beginning of the movie. It sort of kicked the movie sky high.
Who's the black private dick that's a sex machine to all the chicks?
Shaft!
Damn right.
From a fan of the genre, the music is great and it's fantastic. As a filmmaker, I'm semi-frustrated that it wasn't utilized better.
You say this cat has a bad mother?
Shut your mouth.
I'm talking about Shaft.
Then we can dig it.
If I had the theme to Shaft to open up my movie, I'd open up my damn movie. Kung Fu films have used the score to Shaft better than Shaft has.
By 1971, for sure, blaxploitation was poised for a big takeoff.
And then after that, boom, the explosion happened.
What the hell's going on around here?
Most of the blaxploitation heroes were anti-heroes. They were, you know, pimps and drug dealers and guys coming home from the war who lived on the other side of the law, ex-gangbangers or whatever, and they were gangsters, but they were all fighting against the man.
Superfly capitalized on the insights of both Shaft and Sweetback. It had an absolutely brilliant soundtrack by Curtis Mayfield. But it also had the transgressive bad hero in it, and that is a coke dealer named Priest, who was at the height of fashion.
Try some of this coke.
But this guy also fits into what black people call the life. The kind of hustling, pimping underworld. And this is taken up when Carl Lee, Eddie in Superfly, tells Superfly, hey, it's the only game the man is left for us to play.
Priest, all I do is sell coke, man. I don't do no violence. I don't mess with no fire. No
Listen,
guns.
don't argue with me, man. I'm trying to give you a chance. Now, you don't get me my money tonight. I'm gonna put that young girl of yours out on Horse Road.
Listen, Priest, that's my wife you talking about,
so
man.
So what?
It was the first time that we looked at the issue of drug sales and drug abuse and looked at the outside influences that control those drugs.
You're gonna work for me until I tell you to quit?
You don't own me, pig, and no motherfucker tells me when I can split.
Who the fuck do you think you're talking to?
It's a movie about a guy who wants to make a big dope score, and the soundtrack refutes every single thing in the movie. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better object lesson than Superfly, which has a performance by an actor, a Broadway actor, Ron O'Neal, who was itching for a chance to be a movie star. It has a kind of savoir-faire, tigerish grace that made people want to be him. At the same time, everything that Curtis Mayfield is doing in that soundtrack, it's all seduction as he's saying no in thunder to everything this movie is representing.
Hey, Priest, what's happening, huh? How you been? Look here, man, this is Priest.
Ain't I clean, bad machine, super cool, super mean, dealing good for the man, Superfly. Here I stand, secret stash, heavy bread, baddest bitches in the bed. I'm your pusher man.
Curtis Mayfield approached that movie as a chance to make a serious statement about the black condition. And he was able to do it in Superfly, even though the film ethically went in one direction and Mayfield went in the other. Part of the problem of blaxploitation has always been that they degraded the political needs of the black audience. Black audience of the 70s was indeed a politically conscious audience.